Good evening, everybody. This is your host, Folk, and welcome back to another episode of the Channel 256 News brought to you by Bitcoin Mining World. The date is September 5th on this Friday evening. We've got Bitcoin sitting above $110,000, getting close to that $111,000 mark. Today, once markets open, we saw a nice little jump up to 112, and then shortly after up to 113, all the way back down to the 110 level. All things considered, setting higher lows on the weekly time frame, which is nice to see. We just keep getting up there after all these dips. Hopefully that continues throughout the weekend. Over here on the Bitcoin net hash rate chart, things slowly creeping back up close to an exahash. Overall this week, things have been a little bit on a downturn since September 2nd, just a few days ago, but making a little bit of a recovery up to 1 zettahash. People plugging back in for the weekend. Cool to see. Over here in traditional finance, got a little bit wrecked today. Over here, the Dow Jones opened up quite a bit, over 400 points, and then ended up today down below minus 220 points, minus 0.5%. Kind of a rocky day over here as well. Over here on the Nasdaq, we've got a similar story opening up above the previous close and then falling back below just to maintain just about getting closing at yesterday's close. So not too crazy of a Friday over there, or for the S&P, similar story over here, but not being able to get back up to its previous close. Over here on the Russell, we were able to finish off the day a little bit in the green, getting up at one point back above that $2,400 mark. We were talking the other day about how important that level is. We immediately got rejected down after some job data came through. We'll be covering a little bit more of that here in a minute. But things are looking good. Going back to the yearly chart, getting close up to these highs of 2420. We're getting real close to breaking out. This thing is ready to go. Hopefully gold is in its final stretch. However, it did set another new all-time high today. Its second new all-time high for this week. Current all-time high of today, what were we looking at? $3,655 per troy ounce of gold. Kind of nuts to see, even in the futures markets when they closed out at 5 p.m. Central, still just maintaining over that $3,600 mark. As we know, historically, Bitcoin and gold are not correlated, have a very inverse correlation. But we were still able to maintain over our previous all-time highs. I know over the past couple weeks we've been talking a lot about that $109,000 level, and we didn't even drop below that today. We were able to maintain the $110,000 level, which is nice to see overall. Do have a little bit more news in the crypto mining space today. Over here we got Riot CleanSpark post Bitcoin output jump in August. The Bitcoin miners grew BTC output in August while expanding their operational hash rates more than 100% year over year. Riot and CleanSpark are some of the biggest players out there. Nice to see they continue to add to their net hash rate and Bitcoin stacks. Bitcoin miners' Riot platform and CleanSpark boosted their crypto production in August, according to operational updates on Wednesday. Riot platforms mined 477 Bitcoin in August, up from 322 year over year. The output represents a 48% increase compared to August of 2024, according to the company. It sold 450 BTC for net proceeds of $51.8 billion during the month, and now holds 19,000 Bitcoin, a 92% increase in 12 months. Absolutely and crazy from Riot. While CleanSpark mined 657 Bitcoin in August, up from 478 during the same month in 2024. The jump amounts to a year-over-year increase of only 37.5%. The company sold 533.5 BTC for a whopping 60.7 million last month. Crazy to see, but the company announced in April that it would start selling BTC to become financially self-sufficient. CleanSpark now holds 12,827 Bitcoin, a little over 0.5% of the total supply, a 69.7 increase over the period. The output increase comes despite a significant year-over-year rise in Bitcoin mining difficulty. It's more and more big players getting new hardware, plugging it in, putting up these huge sites. I mean, we think of a big site of 20, 30 megawatts. These guys are talking in the hundreds of megawatts and even in the gigawatts in a lot of cases. Super cool to see. And some kind of bad news for I know a lot of the Bitcoiners out there. Michael Saylor's MicroStrategy misses S&P 500. Robinhood to make unexpected entry. Leading Bitcoin holder MicroStrategy couldn't jump the S&P 500, but Robinhood did. The crypto community was left disappointed as MicroStrategy could not join the S&P 500 index as it rebalanced on September 5th. However, Robinhood Markets, the electronic trading exchange offering stocks and crypto assets, was able to join the club. I don't actually have that chart pulled up. We'll get that pulled up real quick for you. Robinhood stock price actually seeing a little bit of a dip, even though we did get that good news coming out of the markets today. Kind of crazy to see, honestly, after getting their S&P 500 listing. All things considered, we all know MicroStrategy is going to make its way up there eventually. Over here, we got some shitcoin news. Sol Strategies approved to uplist shares from over the counter to the NASDAQ exchange. Kind of interesting to see more and more altcoins being recognized. All things considered, I think it's good overall for Bitcoin when more and more different currencies are being recognized. Can't say that I would ever touch any of these, especially Solana, with how many times that it's been turned off by its developers. However, it is cool to see these companies gaining some traction and building legitimacy for Bitcoin inside the United States. Sol Strategy, formerly known as Cypherpunk Holdings, Sol Strategy has received final approval to list its common shares on the NASDAQ Capital Market. Sol Strategy's treasury of almost 400,000 Sol is valued at approximately 84 million at current prices. It's not crazy when we're over here talking about Riot selling how much BTC net proceeds, 51.8 billion during the month. The shitcoiners aren't doing it as good, but they are starting to catch up a little bit. We have to admit, they're putting in a little bit of work. Over here from Cointelegraph, we got Bitcoin price ignores major U.S. payroll misses to erase the 113.4 thousand surge. Talking about that earlier over here, once that job data came in, I've got some more of that pulled back up today. The U.S. added just 22,000 jobs in August, confirming the dramatic slowdown in the labor market. There was something that came out originally. The unemployment data came up a little bit above. We were still seeing some good moves from the market around when everything opened up today. However, some more information came out about people between, I believe, the ages of 18 and 24 with an unemployment rate of 10%. And that is exactly when we saw that huge dip from the $113,000 level all the way back down into the mid $110,000 range. All things considered, I think it's just noise. We're trying to break out of almost every point. The S&P is getting back close to its all-time highs. The Russell is less than 2% away from its all-time highs. We're really just waiting for that final little bit of good news to get us going, to send us into this last parabola for the this current cycle, in my opinion. One last thing we've got from Bitcoin Magazine. Bitcoin mining is the destruction of the working class hero. Bitcoin mining isn't just about machines and megawatts. It's about the people. The physical labor behind Bitcoin mining could be the most undervalued part in the network, and why it's time for more Bitcoiners to plug in. Just time to take a little bit of appreciation. I know any of you guys that are site technicians. I personally am a site technician at a 45 megawatt site, changing fans, changing PSUs, site mapping stuff on Foreman. Extremely appreciative of all the electricians that are out there risking their lives on this crazy high voltage machinery, getting us where we can actually plug in. Just want to take a second. I'm sure some of you guys out there watching are electricians in the field. Really do appreciate all the hard work that you guys do to keep us safe. I think that is going to finish things off for today. However, guys, thank you all so much for checking in. I'll be tuning back in with you guys on Monday, September 8th. Hopefully, we continue to see some positive price action on the charts this weekend. As always, if you did enjoy the video, make sure to drop a like. And if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button and maybe even the noti bell so you can be notified anytime we're posting new content or going live. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.